So I just had the weirdest experience this weekend, which is I got funnel hacked. And for you to really not go through the embarrassing process of being able to funnel hack someone, I'm just gonna say to you what the premise of content architecture actually is. Architecture. I'm studying, but here's how it actually goes. When you build a house, you build staircase, and you make sure that the ergonomics of the people going through that house is suited for how they live their lives, how they cater themselves whenever they are big family or small family or medium size, or it's just an apartment for a bachelor. It's always just gonna be suited for one specific individual. And considering that's how you build a house, why not apply that same concept on creating content, building info products, selling online your expertise and values that you can offer to the world that people can get benefit from? So that's the entire premise of content architecture. And since a post is literally called a post, meaning a physical standalone tower that is gonna be a light post or a signpost, it's a literal post, and a post leads you somewhere. Similar to how you actually post something on Instagram, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. You lead someone from a specific location to a next location. And if that's how you create a post, why not treat every single piece of the post that you create all together accumulates as one, becomes one big roadmap for someone to take in order for them to go from unaware to solution aware and then to the point of conversion. And it's a beautiful way of interpreting data on a massive scale with the current direction that we're moving in. And I think it's just unfair for other people because I have the advantage to literally open up this idea and make sure that this is going to be occupied and make people, the broad audience, be aware of this specific concept, because this is based on my studies as being a architecture student. And when I was an architecture student, I struggled a lot with making sure that everything is concise as possible and making sure that everything is perfect together. But that's actually the one thing that goes against the concept of content architecture, because in content creation, in selling info products, in making sure that you have a running business online which is optimized, efficient, and profitable, you don't have to be a perfectionist every single time, because you have a leeway that your post, your creations is coming from a point of creativity that people can be inspired from, motivated by, and go through a process of realization to themselves. They don't have to be a 6 year gap in order for you to convince someone to follow your expertise or generate values from that post and intellectual properties that you tell them. They actually have a mental model that this works because this is a unique mechanism that I can always make sure that people understand. And I'm losing out on time here because there's a lot of people in this house that is going to be using this space. But I hope that I get to transfer the message across on 1,000 different ways. And I'm hoping that this message on a little bit of premise is widely accustomed to by a lot of people that can hear the message of content architecture. And that's what my only hope is. And because a lot of people still get confused on how the conversion mechanism actually stands as. But essentially, what we only want is build an intellectual city. Treat every single piece of your post, of your content, and on that you post on your Instagram, on your YouTube, as an intellectual property. And this intellectual properties, when you piece together side by side, becomes a collective of intellectual properties, a digital real estate, a concept of online world building. When this goes together hand in hand, it forms an ecosystem. That ecosystem serves one purpose, and that's conversion and value creation. And this value creation centered towards this digital real estate is called an intellectual city. And you build that with content architecture. There's actually no part of you upselling, downselling, or cross-selling someone. Not even the concept, slightest way of selling anyone, because what you ultimately want is building a great ecosystem, building a great product, building something that will stand the test of time. And I heard this quote from Naval Ravikant, one of my favorite writers of all time. He said that you do sales because you suck at marketing. You do marketing because you might probably have not a good product. But since we're building a good product, a good ecosystem, a good mental model in which people can understand and let themselves purchase an idea, they can just go through this ecosystem. And whenever they feel like it, whatever have they get incited into the point of buying because they know to themselves that they will get value from this specific opportunity, this specific chance, specific situation that they are currently in, they are naturally moved forward and literally just enticed into the point of conversion, higher and higher up the floors of conversion, just like how I always say it. And that is the beauty of content architecture, is that you don't have to force anything. You build a world in which people can resonate with, and depending on how you program your space, you attract a certain type of individuals, and those individuals support the idea of what you're trying to propagate. And I think that's it. And I hope the people who funnel hacks me are gonna get enjoyment into listening into this short monologue. And I hope I'll see you again on the next one.